Hey guys and gals, welcome back. Happy Homebrew Wednesday. You know, sometimes I have craft beers on this show, and they're not homebrews. My channel's mostly, based on homebrew. Craft beer flies, I know that. Most of you know I'm a pretty big Bud Light fan. But today, in tribute to the man, Bud Light Orange. Go Pokes. Not even gonna bother putting it in the glass because, it's a Bud Light Orange, right? Cheers, guys. Lost my uncle last week. This is a pretty big hit. He was always, extremely involved in our family functions. Hell of a guy. Crazy guy. I have a list that only runs 3 deep. People I could call at any time, and that'd be a hell of a lot of fun to talk to. One of those guys was my Uncle Jim, and now he's not around. So, in memoriam today, I'm going to start by reading just a few words I wrote for him. I wrote his obit, and yeah, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I will read a little bit of it. First off, this was my uncle. Huge smile, oh my gosh. Huge heart, crazy guy. James J. Called him Jim or Jimmy. Prankster, truck driver, field service manager, bull rider, Longhorn Private Eye, and friend to so many, passed from this life on Sunday, August 9th, 2020 at the age of 68. As a boy, Jimmy could often be found playing ball, helping his dad on the farm. Don't touch that fan belt, Jimmy. He was missing a finger because when he was little, he pointed to the fan belt and it lopped his finger off. But, that turned into being one of his most memorable qualities, was the fact that he didn't have that finger. I was talking to my cousins this week, preparing to write the obituary. And his sister said, my dad really wasn't a baby person. He didn't really like kids until they would, could start laughing about the fact that he didn't have a finger. So, that was him. Generally causing trouble and then running away from his mom's jump rope. Yeah, she used to swat him with a jump rope, and neighbors would talk about driving by and seeing Jimmy running down the road and his mom chasing him with a jump rope. His brother Carl laughs when he recalls working on the farm and seeing Jim's truck headed into town before the work was done. I guess Jim's done for the day, they'd say. He worked for Sigma as a truck driver, during which time he told many stories about driving his 18-wheeler through some tricky situations, including intersections in downtown Manhattan, New York, just weeks after 9/11. Must have been nuts. And then in the years after, so I'd always ask him when I'd see like a little truck or something, or a guy backing a boat down to the water, I'd say, Jim, do you think you could get that thing in there? He'd always say, I think I could probably handle it. And then when he worked for Martin Brower, I'm not exactly sure what he did. They called him a field service manager. But I always made fun of him. That was like my whole relationship with my uncle, was just making fun of him. And he'd do the same to me. I felt like he just got paid for going out to eat and playing golf. And I'd tell him as much. And he'd just laugh it off and say, yeah, I guess so. But, maybe that was just how he made it seem. One of his buddies, a friend and colleague, said my uncle set the standard for developing personal relationships. That was definitely true about my uncle. He was involved in numerous charitable events, including the Special Olympics and Ronald McDonald House Charities, because his company worked closely with McDonald's. And then whether he was working, watching his Oklahoma State Cowboys, cutting to the front of the line at Thanksgiving, throwing balls across the living room from the couch, or out playing golf, sometimes shirtless, using his putter from 30 feet off the green. He loved his Texas wedge. Jim was always the same guy. Easygoing, a jokester, and one whose smile lit up many a room through the years. Rooms filled with those he still continues to touch in his absence. Although he's gone, he'll never be forgotten, and most can probably still have a conversation with him and know what he would have said in response. I was just thinking the other day about the golf scramble I played in with him one time, and I was just kind of reliving the memory in my head. And then I pictured us on a new day, you know, out playing golf again, and in my memory, or in my imagination, we're about 180, 190 yards from the green. He's stepping up over his ball. I would have asked him, "Hey Jim, is that a pitching wedge?" He would have said, "No." That's probably all he would have said. But man, gonna miss the hell out of the guy. The day I found out he passed, it was about 6 o'clock in the morning. After work that day, I went out and played the last golf course I had ever played with him. It was a little par 3 course, and he played 7 holes with his shirt off that day because we were getting ready to go to Vegas, and he was working on his tan. So, and if you knew my Uncle Jim, he wasn't ever in the greatest of shape, but he didn't care. So I'm out there playing this round, striking the ball really well, mind you. And he felt close, you know? It's not, I don't think he'll ever, this guy for sure will never go away. So, my dad just came to my house a second ago and gave me my Uncle Jim's golf clubs. Sentimental, yes, but dang, I have Cobras right now. These are Callaway Big Berthas. So, I just got way better clubs than I've ever had in my life. God, he's got enough dirt on him though. And he seems to have towed the ball a lot. You know, you can tell a lot about a guy's golf game by looking at his golf clubs. My uncle has a lot of marks on the toe of his clubs. And it appears he never hit his 5-iron, so I really wish I would have taken a good look at these while he was still alive. Because based on that and the things I found in this bag, I would have had a lot to say. He's got tags on this thing from past tournaments he played in. He had a 10:30 a.m. tee time at Cherokee Town and Country Club. He's got a lot of Ronald McDonald House tags on this thing from tournaments he played in. So like I said, we all thought he got paid for going out to eat and playing golf, which maybe he did, but that just makes these clubs all the more special to me. Oh, and also I was just telling my wife, I'm not going to be able to play golf again until I buy more balls. This dude has Titleist Pro V1s in this bag. I think probably like 30 of them. Including, you know, balls that are stamped from old tournaments. Random ball markers from the Oak Tree National. I found a golf ball in there from the Travelers Championship. He definitely got around, and I had just as much fun going through his bag and finding all the knickknacks as I did receiving the clubs. So all of this stuff I'll hold dear. His putter. This thing's funny to me, and I'll tell you why. First off, it looks like someone has put some weights on the back of the thing. he wasn't putting well enough, so he thought he needed a weight on the back. Wish I would have seen this while he was still alive. So, my uncle was a big believer in the Texas wedge. You know, he'd be 30 feet off the dang green and he'd putt every single time. Never saw him chip, which reminds me. His pitching wedge saw a little bit of action, but I guarantee not within 30 feet of the green. Dude. So this is, at first I told my dad, I was like, all I want is the guy's putter. You know, I feel like things are more special if there's not a lot of them. Like if this was the only club I had along with my clubs, might be more special than having all of his clubs, but these clubs are really nice, so I can't turn them down. I'm gonna miss the guy forever and ever. But, you know, in the Bud Light Orange and on the golf course, he'll always be with me. He'll always be out there. The food will be easier to get to this year on Thanksgiving, I guarantee you that. But Thanksgiving won't be near as fun without him. So rest in peace, Jimmy. Big dog. I'm gonna miss you. I love you. And I would have never told the guy I loved him. I would have just like thrown a ball at his head or something like that. But now that he's gone, I can say it. And that's really about it. If you've never had the pleasure of drinking one of these babies, though, I will say this. Someone said, oh, maybe, you know, is it like a blue moon? No, it's not like a blue moon. It's like you got a Bud Light and pumped orange crush into it. So it's definitely for the person who doesn't like beer but still wants to be able to drink beer, I feel like. And I texted my brother last night. I said, how much of him loving Bud Light Orange had to do with his love for Oklahoma State? All of it, probably. But it's easier to drink than normal beer for people who don't like beer, I'm sure. So that was probably part of it, too. My brother, one day, when he had his knee surgery, brought him like a 6-pack of Raging Bitch. You ever heard of that beer? Raging Bitch. From Flying Dog Brewery. It's a Belgian IPA. One wild drink. Nectar imprisoned in a bottle. And anything but delicate blend of sharp hoppiness and fruity aroma. This beer is a life-changing backyard knife fight for your palate. So, looks like some what's his name? Stedman. The guy who did the art for Fear and Loathing. I feel like a guy who drinks Bud Light Orange, and that's really it, you don't take him an 8.3% ABV Raging Bitch. That's like a knife fight on the palate. So, you know, in the couple years after, would always laugh out on the golf course or wherever would be at. You know, the last time we saw Jimmy was at my brother's wedding last weekend, and then he died the following evening. And at the wedding, my brother whispered in his ear, he said, gave him a bottle opener, because that's what they were giving away as like party favors or whatever. He said, Jim, this is for your Raging Bitch. Jim got the joke. But anyway, that's really, this week was a tribute because I couldn't not do it. Sometimes we have to take pause, consider the good things we have in life along with the unfortunates. And, you know, I don't mind drinking a Bud Light Orange. I love Bud Light, so this is pretty refreshing. Actually, there's kind of a funny story about that. A buddy came over one night. I don't know if I've told this story on here. But he was gonna pick up some beer on his way over. And he's like, what do you want? And you know, I'll drink pretty much anything. So, and a lot of people are very specific about the kinds of beer they'll drink. And he said, oh, I'll find something. I had never had this beer before, and he pulls up with a 12-pack of Bud Light Orange. We probably only drank like 3 apiece that night. We were doing some other stuff. So he leaves essentially a 6-pack of Bud Light Orange behind. I had other beers in my fridge. I was shit-talking him when he brought this over. I was talking about how it tastes like Orange Crush in a beer can. And then I kid you not, when he left, I finished all of the Bud Light Orange before I drank a different beer. So it grew on me a little bit. It's a little endearing. It's pretty tasty if I do say so myself. Now, I'll probably head out to the driving range. It was just raining a little bit earlier, but I just got these clubs about 30 minutes ago. So I really want to go hit some balls with them. I'll see you guys next week. It's been fun. Maybe fun's not the word, but it's always good to get in front of you and talk about beer and the other stuff that's going through my mind. I hope you don't mind this week. Me just doing a little tribute, drinking a Bud Light. Say what you will. I'm sure I'll catch some heat over this, but that's okay. I'll see you guys real soon. I'll see you next week. I will be talking about fermentation temperatures next week and some things that you can do during the summer months to really just lop the heat off of your fermentations and make better beer. Okay, even if you don't have coolers or freezers or stuff like that. Okay, peace guys. I'll see you real soon. Cheers.